Question 7 for RPGaDAY 2016 is, what aspect of RPGs has had the biggest effect on you? Well, I'd say for myself that when I first started out role-playing, I was very much a case of sort of roll the dice and let the dice pretty much decide everything. I mean, we're talking about sort of when I was in my early teens when I first started GMing. So I started GMing because I was the one who had the books, like a lot of people did back then. But as sort of more tactical, more sort of crunchy RPGs sort of segued into more story-based gaming, I think that had a really big effect on me. So I'm a great lover of stories, of telling stories, of getting together with groups of people and telling stories, of collaboratively creating things. And as games started to move more towards like games like Dungeon World, etc., where it's not just me as a GM sort of handing everything down to the players and saying, this is my world, now you will play in it. It's all of us getting together and creating that between us. And it's not just a case of, oh, here come some monsters, let's roll some dice and attack them. It's a case of every person becoming involved in the narrative and helping to create a story between us, which talks a story which features the heroics of our character, the crazy exploits of NPCs, villains, empires rising and falling, world-shattering consequences for events, and also very personal stories. Stories of personal tragedies, triumph, emotion. As games, I mean, role-play games have always sort of had this, but as game mechanics themselves started to move more towards recognizing this and incorporating and addressing it specifically within games, such as my personal favorite game, the Fate RPG, which has aspects which are little story tags that let you as a player say to the GM, hey, GM, this is what's important for my character, this is what I'd like to see in the game, please. And unless your GM is foolish, and I don't think it's too sort of outraged to say that, unless your GM is foolish, why as a GM, if your players say to you specifically, here's what I want to see in the game, why would you as a GM not put it in there? Because unless it's massively disruptive, like one of the player characters goes, well, I want to be a god and everyone else will bow before me, in which case you need to go, no. And you need to like put the brakes on a little bit. But as long as it's not too massively disruptive, why would you not want to include what your players want to see in a game? Because after all, you want to entertain them, you want to entertain yourselves, you want everyone to have a good time. And one of the great things I found as a GM is that when I'm collaboratively creating a story with people, because it's not just my ideas going in, it keeps it interesting for me as a GM. Because if I've scripted everything massively, there are no surprises for me, there are no twists and turns, unexpected plots, different routes taken in the tale. I know everything that's going to occur with a few slight variances. However, by creating this collaborative tale between us and doing all this world building between us, it also gives me a chance to be surprised by the world that we're playing in, and that gives me a great sense of enjoyment, and it's something I don't really get to the same extent from any other media. So that is the aspect of RPGs that has had the biggest effect on me, the move towards story-based mechanics. It's something I thoroughly enjoy, and I appreciate it's not for everyone, but certainly for me, it's something I really, really love. So hopefully I'll see you for question 8 tomorrow. Until then, take care, happy gaming.